This is our first monthly virtual demo day of 2025. Believe it or not, we've made it all the way through 1 month of 2025. If you've never attended and never participated in one of these before, as a general rule, the final Friday of every month, we hosted a virtual demo day. We also have some in-persons, like at our AEC Summit and things like that. But the format is we bring 5 founders. They have 5 minutes to pitch and 5 minutes for Q&A. So I'm going to go down the list. We're going to turn the floor over, so to speak, to one of these founders. They're going to have 5 minutes. They're going to share their screen. They're going to show you their decks. They're going to talk through their company. David Palmer from Siiv is up first. David, feel free to share your screen, and we're good to go. Take it away, David.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the time. Again, my name is David, and I'm with Siiv, one of the co-founders, and I'm here to talk to you about how we simplify project controls. So quick note about the team. Again, my name is David. My background's in structural engineering and software engineering, so I did high-rise building in New York for a bit, and when I was at that high-rise firm, I started their R&D group, so I was building software to help streamline some of the structural engineering workflows. And then from there, kind of jumped ship and went over to a fintech startup and worked as a software engineer at a startup out here in San Francisco before starting this company. My 2 co-founders, Vishal and Ryan, both of these guys also software engineers, and between them kind of share a range of industry experience from aerospace technology, insurance tech, healthcare, enterprise SaaS. I think there's a couple others I'm missing, but we bring a pretty wide range of perspective to the construction space. So the thing that we're excited about is construction data. And we specifically believe that construction data is heavily underutilized with respect to other industries. And it's because the data is fragmented. And when I say fragmented, I mean it's trapped in a lot of different applications and software platforms. And that fragmentation reduces transparency, consumes a lot of time, and it ultimately just delays decisions. So for example, let's take a project manager at, say, a subcontractor. To get a clear understanding of any given project, that PM needs to take data from their ERP system, they need to take data from their project management system, maybe their payroll system, centralize that into one place, and then analyze it with respect to any individual job, and even further granular, any individual job code. So this is obviously time consuming, but it's also very error prone because you're copying and pasting data. And a lot of times these different data sources don't reconcile. So you have inconsistencies in that data. Additionally, change orders, which as everyone knows, exist on every project, and they take a long time to get approved. And over the course of that change order's life cycle, you have revisions that aren't effectively tracked and are not effectively updating other data sources. So you lose a lot of clarity on what's going on with your change orders, and you can't really construct a cohesive narrative around their life cycle. So this affects leadership because they lose clarity over the financial health of any given project and also the business as a whole. And if you don't have good data management practices, then it's difficult to accurately cost forecast. And you lose this really valuable feedback loop between your forecasting and your actual spending. So during a post-mortem, if you don't have that cohesive narrative around why are we spending more than we forecasted, you can't apply those learnings to future projects. So we solved this problem by essentially at a high level, centralizing all of the data from these different places into our own schema and using that to enable project visibility and real-time decisions. So again, solution at a high level, we basically bridge accounting and operations at a construction company. So we take data from places like payroll, change orders, invoices, et cetera, centralize it into our platform and create our own schema around that data, and then use our platform's clean, structured data to produce job costing reports, WIP reports, and then in the future, cash flow forecasting and data around risk and compliance. So I want to quickly walk through a case study for a customer that we're in the process of bringing on board. So this is a diagram of their ecosystem. As you can see, there's a lot of different softwares here connected in fairly complex ways. Some workarounds of note, like you have in the bottom right corner here, SQL Server, which is essentially duplicating data down from their ERP system and their invoicing system on Sage That's copied over to Excel, and then the data in Excel is used to create pivot tables, which essentially act as like ad hoc SQL join tables, essentially. That pulls data from their CRM, and all this is kind of pumped into a series of reports. And as you can see, even their payroll system, which is represented by HH2 and an external contractor, is not even directly connected. So they need to estimate their payroll and then copy and paste those estimates into these reports. So it's a complex workaround, and it's admirable, but at the same time, it's unstable and it requires a lot of maintenance. If the person who built this ever leaves the company, they immediately lose the value of this workaround, and they're spending a lot of money just fixing a lot of the issues that arise from the complexity. So we're helping them by basically taking data from all of these different platforms, pulling it into our system, and then structuring that data around our own schema and using that schema to start ACR reports, anticipated cost reports, and WIP reports. And then in the future, doing things like more AP and AR, aging reports, billing reports, payroll, and so forth. And then we believe that once we have several projects of structured data, we can use that data for predictive analytics on forecasting and get that really valuable forecasting feedback loop to use change orders to inform kind of like this cohesive narrative around how a project gets executed financially. So a little bit about where we're at. We're currently collaborating with a couple design partners, or rather early customers. And these are customers that experience these issues deeply. And we're investigating those and creating essentially what are customized solutions for those customers in kind of a service contract or a consulting contract structure. And then that will later transform into more of a structured and consistent software solution. And we'll license that software back out to those early customers, and then also start selling that software to other customers who experience this problem. So if you're someone who experiences this problem or knows someone who experiences this problem, feel free to reach out to me. We do a free diagnosis of your issue, and then kind of work with those partners to better understand how we can move forward into this service contract phase in the future. Really appreciate the time, everybody.
So that was our first pitch. David Palmer from Siiv. Next up, Ruben Quesada from Sabana. Ruben, the floor is yours. Go ahead and share your screen and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. My name is Brent Quesada. Thank you so much for having us. We are a startup out of Carnegie Mellon's Entrepreneurship Center. I'm really excited to tell you about how Sabana is helping architects and engineers save over 8 hours a week in construction specifications and product research. So soul-sucking, wasted time, blood, sweat, and tears. This is what a lot of architects and engineers that we've interviewed through the past few months have said about this process. Basically, a chaotic process from finding a product all the way to actually document it as a part of their construction specifications. They can spend up to a quarter of their week just basically reviewing the information, coordinating with their teams, and then transcribing, copy pasting, and placing them into those documents, which typically are Word documents. Sometimes this could be up to 3,000 pages long that describe in detail the products and the materials that go into a building. These are also particularly important if you're obviously aware of the construction industry, because these are contract documents, and we typically do default back to specs about the decisions that we made through design. So as mentioned, this process can be confusing, it can be redundant, and prone to human error. I realized this. I worked as an architect for nearly 10 years at CGF, and typically the process looks something like this. You have different members of the team working in different parts of the design. You're basically either talking to somebody, sending PDFs. A lot of people just default to saving PDFs onto their project folder and never look back at them again. Changes happen and nobody's keeping up with the progress. So it's just a constant exchange of unorganized and unstructured data. So what we decided to do is we created Sabana. Sabana is an AI-powered data management platform that is designed to help firms save time, reduce costs, and minimize their errors in construction documentation. I'll show you how it works. So we basically give the users the autonomy to use any product online. All you have to do is either download the PDF and upload it, or use their URL. And from there, our AI already is trained on the schemas of each product type, and then it will create a listing for you. From there, you can compare products from different manufacturers, and then you can also collaborate with your team, leave project notes or lessons learned, so you can always go back and review those. This can be divided by projects, or also populate a firm's database. Then from there, once you select a product, you can go ahead, tie it to a specific spec section, and from there it can generate part of your specifications. When it comes to competition, we see a lot of different fronts. Specifically, we see either you kind of like focus on a specific part of the market, whether it's architects or engineer or interior designers, or we see, like, for example, legacy softwares like Conspectus, Ruben, Deltec that are more worried about the actual specification writing. We also see a lot of differences, for instance, like Programma, which is at the very beginning, that's mostly for interior designers. Ace Lab, which is a marketplace, is most focused on product discovery, but it's also just for architects. And then we see a lot of new startups coming up, like Part 3, which is CA focused using AI tools, which also super interesting startup. We believe that we stand apart by becoming the centralized building product layer for design teams. So basically, we'll enable all of our users to document product and material selections in one place. Traditionally, it's very hard for firms to do this. Master lists of products can be very fragmented, like we talked about, PDFs, spreadsheets, bin models, but it basically becomes impossible for you to keep track of this manually. So our strategy is that our platform really eliminates a lot of this friction by leveraging LLMs and transforming what was before pretty tedious into a much more efficient workflow. What's also interesting is if we accomplish our vision, which is basically letting those users populate their databases for their product, for their projects and their firms, we'll be able to also touch a lot of different aspects of the design, all the way from SD to CA. So for instance, even though we talked a little bit about creating construction specifications, we can also create schedules. And that's what we're planning to do first. But ultimately, on later phases, our platform could potentially integrate with other tools or create its own features that helps architects and engineers answer RFIs, submittals, review substitution requests, and change orders. Current SAM sum looks like this. We're looking at a market of $9.6 billion with a SAM of 1.2. That's assuming that an average subscription of 1.6 or $1,600 by the amount of architects and design engineers in the United States. 5% of that is the current SAM, which is 58.86. Our go-to-market strategy will start with focusing on small to medium-sized architecture firms. These are actually 93% of the market. There's a lot of competition on that front, but we believe that this is actually a really great entry point for us because we are talking to decision makers right away. We also know that these issues are very predominant on larger firms as well. So we're going to hone our product, keep developing, keep refining it. And from there, we're going to try to attack onto larger firms, which actually do and make up almost 60% of the billings when it comes to architectural fees. We have 3 different pricing structures. Right now, we are focused on creating something that is more collaborative. So by doing group pricing, we believe that we can attract more people to use the product collaboratively. So we have Pro, Premium, and Enterprise. Enterprise being a custom, depending on what the size of the firm and so forth. The team is myself and 2 other engineers, full stack engineers. We're all students at Carnegie Mellon, but graduating very soon. We finished the Techstars Accelerator back in December, created our first MVP, and now are talking to architecture firms to use the first version of our product. We're hoping to actually onboard our first client in the coming weeks because we're actively engaging with 5 different architecture firms and trying to come up with that initial deal. We build this team. My engineers have been great. They did everything in-house. So we're very proud of what we've done so far. Thank you so much for having us. If you have any questions, please visit our website. Here's a QR code. And again, thank you for having us.
Very good, Ruben. Thank you for presenting Sabana. Next up, our next founder will be Austin Vawter for Eversun. So Austin, I am going to turn the reins over to you. Go ahead and share your screen and take it away.
We took a hard pivot here into hardware technology. My name is Austin Vawter. I'm the founder of Eversun, and we make ultra portable critical infrastructure deployed across the construction site, first responders, defense, natural disasters, and more. We've been at this for quite a while. Yeah, portable towers, portable critical infrastructure towers, however you want to call them. You'll see them on construction sites. They're the backbone that powers a lot of the critical infrastructure technology that you see. Go from the most obvious use cases, lighting. If you don't have light, you can't work. It's free when the sun's up, but when it's not, you need artificial lighting. Other applications, including cameras, network equipment, counter UAVs, environmental sensors, and radar technologies, all becoming more popular as we go forward. This is the main issue with portable towers as they exist today. They're not very portable. They're pretty inefficient. They take up, a full trailer to move around. They're heavy, they're bulky, often run on gas generators, or they're complex to set up. We want to, remove that inefficiency from the equation, take 20 minutes to set these up, boil it down to under a minute, keep it just as powerful, just as high, and give you all the features as much as possible with advanced material technologies and innovation. So we've been in this space for a while. We're not that young of a startup. We've been around since 2017. This started as a passion project of mine to develop a portable stadium light to play beach volleyball here in San Diego, where we're located. Can't bring a bulky generator to the beach. Needed something to set up and go up high, put off a tremendous amount of light so you could play sports. It took off organically, and over the last 7 years, we've really refined our market approach, gotten really dialed in on where our product market fits best, which is construction, police, and defense, and refined our product around that product market fit. In that span of time, we've gotten about 20 patent claims awarded, have a few more in process of being reviewed and filed. We're really making some traction in the not just sustainable space. We have some cool solar innovations. That's pretty much what I'm going to share with you next. And to do an official demo day, let's change it up a little bit and do it in-house. All right, so to give you actually a real tour of what the benefit analysis is, here's our latest core technology. It's called the Apollo X E-Tower. Weighs about 75 pounds, made with fiber, roll wrap carbon fiber with an interlaced twill on the mast. We integrate solar panels. It has 200 watts throughout the whole system. Each panel weighs about 3.5 pounds and folds out while it's being deployed. One of our most sought after features and innovative features is our gas strut system. So obviously in a lot of critical infrastructure situations or construction sites, you're not gonna be able to set up on perfectly level ground, and you need to be able to set up quickly. So what we have developed here really is a unique gas strut related system that allows 2,000 pounds of force set up pretty much wherever. You see there's a couch behind me, lockable legs, everything is easy to do, easy to set up, and it can be adjusted and then locked out wherever you want to go. This is kind of our leading edge technology right now, and sustain about 60 miles an hour of wind with 20 pounds of payload at the top. So we have lighting payloads. Sorry, a little dark in here too. Let me turn the lights up just a little bit. Use some of our own technology. So one of the unique features is swappable payloads at the top. Obviously, you can put in lights, which is the most standard feature. That's the easiest to deploy. We have built-in bubble levels, gyroscopes, wind and tilt sensors, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, 4G LTE. So you get all the feedback sent to your Procores or whatever data system you have. Monitor fuel utilities. Get about 8 hours of light at full power with this one. It has dual swappable battery packs, one in the front, one in the back. So they run off of a UPS style, so you can swap them really quickly, have one ready to go, and pop and swap. Once you're done, basically you get a bubble level setup right here, confirm it's good, move forward, change the lights, check your solar, do all the stuff like that you need. And if you want to deploy a camera system, pretty simple. You just kind of pop, and you have a different payload at the top, such as multiple camera heads. And like that, you have a security system. in place on the job site. For theft and prevention, we do things like locking out the legs. We have locks on these, locks on the batteries. We're working on improving some features there, but we're really looking to get something that the customer wants, the end user really wants to use, and that's pretty much the demo. Growing our technology in the construction space as well as, we have 3 models in the market. One in production today, the Apollo S. It's really positioned more for sports, job site, the basic setup events. Apollo SLX is going to production next quarter. And then the X is still in development, but going forward quickly. Oops, sorry. Firmware and IT, we do the best we can to get it as safe and effective as possible. Intelligent dimming, independent battery discharge, recharge. It's lockable, has IoT stuff. As far as the competitive landscape goes, we're just looking at the construction industry specifically here. It's not a lot of leaders in the market. Milwaukee is probably the biggest leader. As far as lighting goes, we trump them on pretty much every category. We get double the light coverage, almost triple the battery life, more than double the lumen output on battery, and pretty much everything you would need to get the job site done. It's just, where can you have it? I mean, the really idea is let's transform critical infrastructure together in the construction, defense, security, disaster response.
We're in hardware. We're going to see some more hardware here in just a minute as well. So when you think about what's happening on job sites, which is sort of the nexus of the built environment, right? Next up, our next founder up, it's actually straight out of the Shadow Ventures ecosystem. And I've known Brent for a while now. Brent has presented at our summits in the past. He's done a lot of things around the KP Reddy and the Shadow ecosystem. So Brent, great to see you back. I know I was supposed to call you Al, but I'm kind of stuck with Brent. So Brent Wadas from BotBuilt. The floor is yours, sir.
Appreciate that, and appreciate the professionalism there, Jeff, for not putting that song into everyone's head. And if it's not in your head, just look it up and let it ride, So I'm Brent Wadas. I'm of BotBuilt. I'll pull up some slides here real quick. We'll go through those pretty quickly because I know I'm standing between a lot of you and lunch. But just for a quick reference, we're BotBuilt. What we've done is we've created a generative AI model and a physical AI model to work with off-the-shelf robots that we buy on eBay to build any home with flexible manufacturing. So I'll put a video link in the chat shortly along with my email so you guys can see our latest video product and what we're actually building. But just to give you an overview, just to let you know what exactly we're working on here, we are a physical AI company. So that means that we've taken two-dimensional plans, turn them into three-dimensional models, and let robots build wall panels and other home components themselves. So far to date, we started officially in 2020, really didn't get robots till 2021, and started experimenting with different tooling systems. We just had our first patents go through, not just a systems patent, but now the software side, and then hardware systems. And we get all of our robots used on eBay. So the robots you're seeing in this image are from our newest facility in Durham, North Carolina, where we purchased them from none other than the BMW plant down in Spartanburg, South Carolina, because the Germans know that when it's out of 0.2 mils of precision, that robot is dead to them. We buy them for a fraction of the cost and pull them up here, give them a quick oil change, and from there be able to build custom homes with it. So we're approaching it because of a few reasons. One, I spent a lot of time in the US Special Operations after I sold off a SaaS company and an investment firm. And I loved going to Afghanistan. I loved deploying with my brothers and sisters in arms. But one thing I found very frustrating, I invested heavily in real estate. And it is 10 times more likely that someone building my home will die than I was ever likely to die in Afghanistan. We lost about 35 members a year in uniform. That's 35 too many in my opinion, but that's the reality. About 350 people, according to OSHA, die every year just building our homes. We can do it with design-built systems in a much safer fashion and also save money in the process. And I'll kind of go through how that actually works here using the BotBuilt system. We all know the problems facing construction. If you're here, if you're in the KP Reddy or Shadow ecosystem, you're probably well aware of the usual stuff, right? Construction is deadly. It is dangerous. It is just so destructive. We've got a labor shortage that's about to get a lot worse. We've got just declining production in general in American facilities that are currently running. And then we just see so much waste. Basically, those giant dumpsters that you see outside of every single family residence that looks like they're about the same size as said residence, that can be eliminated through pre-planning, and we use an AI system to do that. So here's exactly, in the simplest of terms, what we do. We take any two-dimensional plans, you send us your garbage PDF blueprint that your architect has, that's fine by us. We have an AI system, takes about 90 seconds, reads all the code, reads all the things that are there. You tell us where you're going to build that home. It brings in the codes off the internet for the actual constraints. You might tell us as a builder some other constraints that you have. I like California pockets. I like this type of a header system. We then from there create a three-dimensional model all with AI. So we don't have to actually sit there and have someone measure out everything. It then creates this three-dimensional framing system. Every stud, every piece of sheathing, every nail, and every cost of those things is in the most efficient manner given to the builder in a book of panels in the most efficient panels you can build. We call it the panel book because we're creative like that. And from there, we send that over to our physical AI system. And that is basically where we've taken every panel 1 through 45, let's say, for a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in suburban America. And we say, hey, robots, here's panel 15, build it. And from there, using systems that our CTO and co-founder Barrett Ames did in his PhD way back in the day, using his own patented inverse kinematic system, the robots are able to take every little bit of data there and build out each panel on their own so that we have minimal interference. So that middle picture that you're seeing there, that's called our command center. It's where they can see all of our robots in whatever plant they're in. You can be in a nice air-conditioned office. You can be 5,000 miles away. You can be 10,000 miles away. We have people in the Philippines that have run our systems. We currently here in Durham, North Carolina, have 2 16-year-olds that take turns running the robotic systems because we've tried to make it, Barrett, with hate in his voice, says that it has to be infantry proof so that any idiot can run these systems because it does no one any good to put robots in their facilities if they just have to hire a PhD to actually make them run. And so in that process, we ship the wall panels right to the site. This is what the command center's viewpoint is. This is just making sure the robots haven't gained sentience, that no one's, getting to where they shouldn't be, walking through a robotic line where a 2,500-pound piece of steel is going. And from there, the robots are mapping out every play on their own and stacking up panels to build out to homes, allowing us to address the framing market, which is our main marketplace right now. We've built 30 homes over the last year so far. We have 2,400 homes on order right now. So we'll be expanding this year by opening up a Series A round, building a mega facility, and then doing our first 2 RAS plays where other component manufacturers will be putting our robots in their facilities, first in Florida near Tampa, the other in Toronto, Canada, and helping builders address that 20 to 40% of their cost problem, which is coming from framing, and most importantly, from framing not taking the time it's supposed to. An average crew of 5 to 8 framers in America can take anywhere from 5 days to 50 days to frame a house. With the BotBuilt system, we generate basically from just the foundation to the framing shell in about 3.5 to 7 hours, depending on the size of the home, with a 3 to 5 person crew. So it's a huge time savings difference, and it allows every other trade to unlock itself and be in there. So that is BotBuilt in a nutshell. We've really put together a great team over the last few years and now finally have the ability to expand greatly. And with that, I will stop sharing. We'll go from there.
Very good. Brent, thank you for presenting BotBuilt. A reminder that I host these virtual demo days on the final Friday of every month. This is our first one in 2025. Our next will be February 28th, which is the last Friday in February. So with that, Alim, take it away.
Yes, thanks, Jeff. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. So we are building Surfaice.pro, which is vertically integrated AI-powered construction project manager assistant. We literally automate repeatable workflows and projects with fleet of AI agents. So shortly about me, I was born and raised in construction family. My dad is construction engineer architect. So from the my youngest, I started helping him a lot. Then I graduated as an aerospace engineer. I was part of International Space Station mission control team. Then I was part of Oracle team. We implemented ERP systems. I was in consulting, part of McKinsey Academy, KPMG IT advisory team, and then started my first big startup venture, which was a construction material marketplace that eventually was acquired by one of our strategic investor. My co-founder Slava is also experienced construction tech entrepreneur who founded company called Mighty Buildings, that's 3D printing. And like last year, he also moved to the AI. So we find each other and like start working together. Omar, he has like civil engineer by degree. He helped scaling construction playbooks for Katerra and Rivian. And Genevieve, she was like a senior director of IAC at 7-Eleven, South Street Grocery, with more than 20 years experience in project management. And like 7-Eleven, she deployed like more than like 350 new stores in a year and managed $1.5 billion capital. So we are like both like tech and like construction background. And once like I'm super passionate about construction since my childhood, and I start thinking when AI arrives, like how exactly AI will like disrupt the industry and who will adopt AI first. And I thought that it's advanced technology and should be adopted by advanced development. And what is like the most advanced development like that we have right now? And I realized this is a program development. The companies like McDonald's, they build thousands of restaurants and they have all of the information, all the repeatable workflows and all of the like standards that actually they're already automating. There's program development, it's automating starts from playbooks, design manuals, guidelines, prototypes. So they have 1,000 of pages of information how exactly you need to build a new McDonald's or new Starbucks or whatever. So this is like, repeatable construction projects. And we saw like a lot of like repeatable workflows in construction. Even though the buildings might be not the same, but the workflows are the same. How they're actually gonna like build these buildings. What really differentiates success from failure is that it's your team, it's humans who work with you. It's project managers, one of the key role. So for example, John Doe is construction project manager. So he like 20 years built McDonald's and he can easily pivot himself to start building Starbucks. That's why the way how it's happened is like what really does construction project manager, like a really good one, is actually his knowledge graph. So his knowledge graph on how he's approaching like different type of issues, different type of construction. And in the meantime, the skill set that he have, it's like a typical skill sets, like calling, texting, find data, generate documents, read images, extract data from the like conversation documents, analyze data, and use computer a third-party application. And here again, like typical communication channels, all the good one, the bad one, project manager have the phone number, they like use WhatsApp, texting, send emails, search some information, and use third-party application. What really differs that I told you before is the knowledge graph. And what we see that AI is already like automating like different type of skill sets, like read and write, listen and talk, see and analyze, think and predict. AI can do everything of this. And we see that this is like gives us opportunities to create new type of software. And I believe AI is not typical SaaS. AI is like a technology that helps like, to make our work much more intelligent. This is the system, for example, if you buy Procore in a year, it would be the same Procore, the same interfaces. Once you buy an AI system in a year, it could be much more different system. It would be trained by your data. So that's why we believe this is like a vertical integrated software, like intelligent software AI system project manager. So what we're literally trying to do, we're trying to create like, transform your project management into custom GPT models that would be trained on your data and your processes. So we build this platform like Surfaice, where you can create like, custom logic. We can like actually, you can create different type of tasks. You can see that AI already know this task. You can create a new task and you can go and play golf. And now AI will like execute this task. Like to show up like quickly how it works. So you have the same like GPT or DeepSeek platform where you actually like, have an agent back on, well, like on the other side. So you can like talk with this agent and now but the difference is like you can control how like DeepSeek or all-one thinking. You can control this self-reasoning. What we really create, like we create that, okay, we can train our AI and it would be self-reason as you want. So we call this workflow. So you can create workflows, the custom workflows that contains all the sequences that you specifically want to execute. So for example, how you approach whatever, like reach out, how you approach site inspection, how you actually execute budget calculating. So different type of workload that you have, you're already doing somehow this, and you believe that probably, and we believe it actually, that based on like your experience, this is like the best way how you decide to build this. So the first initial step, we train AI to think and self-reason the model the same way as you do. Now, as we like start doing this, we actually start creating a knowledge graph who knows all of your workflows. So this AI is actually this workflow, it's AI that creating this workflow and executes each single step as you want. So now you control this, like, the self-reasoning, and now we add the actions. So actions is actually the way how AI can text, can send information, analyze, draft email, integrate, like, with software, the third-party software, whatever, update the database. So here we can create and show up, here's how AI is actually executing the actions. And now, once you create an actions, you have like different type of roles, like AI coordinator, which is like agents. And now you can also train agent. You can okay, let's start training like the new type of workflow. For example, let's adjust this workflow. I don't like this step. Let's change this step or whatever. So you can create different workflows inside the platform. And now AI become more and more intelligent and covers more and more of your processes. So with our software, one project manager can do 10 times more rather than without it. So it means that we believe in future where project manager can sit using our platform, create different tasks, monitoring how AI is executing this task. And you just need to control it. And you don't need to call by yourself, send emails, prepare the documents or whatever. We started from building billboards, which we believe like a repeatable construction project, highly repeatable. Now we actually scaling to retail spaces. We signed the contracts with Noodle House. We signed contract with one of the oldest construction firm who building the building Starbucks, Walmarts, McDonald's. So we help these brands to automate their repeatable workflows. And we see that AI can impact efficiency, specifically in store development, a lot. Time to spend on one store development could be decreased 2 times. And cost for project management could be decreased 3 times, which is huge. And this is only the first version. We are early stage. We launched only last year. And the future that we believe in, that all the construction, repeatable construction should be like this. Hey, Surfaice, deploy new project in Austin. And AI will all start all the workflows. And you just need to engineer and monitor that it's happening in the right way. And you become the human in the loop of this technology. But this is drives a lot of more efficiency that we believe in. Thank you very much, Jeff, and everyone. So if you're ready to transform your construction projects with AI-powered assistance and implement AI workflows, I'd be happy to help you guys.
Alim, thank you for presenting Surfaice to us. Pretty fascinating, I think. I love the idea that we can build these networks of folks that are focused on innovation, whether it's software, whether it's hardware, whether it's construction, whether it's security, robots, lighting, the human in the box, so to speak, whatever it is. I love the idea that we are able to build a network of people that are focused on innovation for the built environment. So reach out and connect with all of these founders here today. And finally, a thank you to all of our founders again for taking the time out today to pitch your product, to pitch your service, your software. We really appreciate you doing this. Happy to provide this platform, and just this is our way of promoting what's going on around the industry. So I don't see any more questions. So Alim, thank you very much for presenting Surfaice. Fascinating. Again, everybody reach out. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here today. And we'll wrap it up about 2.5 minutes early. So thanks to everybody that was involved here today. And I hope that we'll see you again next month. So thanks, everybody.